are just on holiday for the sunshine and they don't really care about immersing themselves in a culture. They just want to get a tan. Hey sailors, welcome back to Cruising as Crew. My name is Lucy, as you can see by my name badges, and today we are going to be discussing why some people would never consider taking a cruise. I personally think they're missing out, but some of the reasons, I can kind of see why they think it, so it's going to be interesting to see if you agree or disagree with some of them. Now, I know that most of you here are cruise lovers, and for many of you, a cruise is the perfect vacation. But for a lot of people, they could not think of anything worse than going on a cruise for these reasons. First one being overcrowding. Because as we know, these modern cruise ships are not getting any smaller, and they can sometimes carry up to 7,000 passengers, sometimes even more than that, leading to long lines in the buffet, overcrowding in the theatres. Now, I am generally a fan of people, so I actually don't mind having loads of people around me. The only time I find it gets annoying is when you're having to queue for absolutely everything, because whilst I do love being around people, I'm also impatient and I hate waiting for anything. But generally, especially on the newer ships, I don't find this to be too much of a problem. Mainly because though when these ships were designed, the cruise line took overcrowding into consideration, and these ships have been designed with the flow of traffic in mind, because you have to understand on these cruise ships you're always going to have busy times and slow times. So for example, breakfast time and lunchtime in the buffet is always going to be chaotic. But at the same time, the shops are going to be closed and there's going to be barely anyone in the casino. But at 7 p.m, the theatre and the casino are going to be jam-packed, but the pool area is going to be nearly empty. And cruise lines are really good at judging the rate of traffic and where the majority of people are going to be at what time, depending on the size of the cruise ship and where in the world that cruise ship is going to be sailing. Also, it depends on how long the cruise is. Like a 3-day cruise is going to have a very different flow of traffic to a fortnight cruise, for example. But I don't know about you, every vacation I've ever had, whether it is on a cruise ship or whether it is a land-based vacation or holiday, as the Brits say, I've always been surrounded by people. I went to Spain in 2024, stayed at an all-inclusive resort, and I was surrounded by people then. Just the same as I would be as if I went on a cruise. But for example, when I went on MSC World Europa, apart from the buffet area at some times, I didn't really feel like it was overcrowded. And of course, depending on what cruise ship and what cruise line you go on, some are going to be more overcrowded than others. But generally speaking, I really do think the thought of overcrowding is worse than the actuality. The second reason why people would never consider going on a cruise is the limited time in ports. Cruise line itineraries typically allow between 6 and 10 hours in port, which means you're constantly watching the clock when you are exploring the ports, making sure that you get back to the ship in time and you don't get left behind. So while cruising lets you visit multiple destinations in one vacation, you don't actually get to immerse yourself in one destination. So the first one in terms of the clock watching is definitely something I can understand and I can sympathise with, especially when it's your first or second cruise. Being left behind by the cruise ship is a real fear. But the more you cruise, the more you understand the dynamics, and I do think the more relaxed you get about not being left behind by the ship. If we put the clock watching aside, the whole reason of a cruise is to see multiple places in one vacation. So with that being said, it is important to go in with the mindset of, I'm going to get a little taster of what this city has to offer. No, you're not going to be able to immerse yourself in a culture in 8 hours, but that was never the promise. That was never going to happen. So maybe for someone who really does want to immerse themselves in one culture, in one destination, then yeah, cruising probably isn't for you. But most of us have jobs, so therefore we have a limited amount of time that we can go on holiday throughout the year. So if some of us want to see as many places as we possibly can within that time frame so that we feel like we're making the most of our holiday, that doesn't mean that it's a lesser form of travel. It's just a different preference. And that brings me on to number 3, which is when people say cruising isn't real travel. And I must say, this really, it just makes, I was going to say it really annoys me. It doesn't really annoy me. It just kind of makes me laugh now when people say to me,
Like, oh, well, you haven't really travelled, have you? Because you just did it on a cruise ship.
It's just funny when people try to diminish your experience by saying, oh,
well, it's not real because you were only there for 8 hours.
I don't know. Let me know if you find that or if you've had that experience. Because some people believe that cruises only show the touristy side of a city or a country. And as passengers, you're kind of kept in the port area where there's loads of souvenir shops and you're encouraged to, you know, buy all of the gimmicky things. But that's not always the case. Like, yes, if you go to Nassau in the Bahamas, which is a cruise hub, then yeah, the chances are that you are going to buy a gimmicky souvenir and you are going to spend most of your time in Nassau in a touristy area. But that is a choice. There are lots of places to explore in Nassau that aren't touristy. It might require you going further afield, but you absolutely have that option. On the other hand, some people love the convenience from being in a touristy hub. Some people are just on holiday for the sunshine and they don't really care about immersing themselves in a culture. They just want to get a tan. So yeah, when people say to me like cruising isn't real travel, it's like, well, it is. It's just a different form of travel. And for people who get bored easily, it's a fantastic way to go on holiday. Because as I said, if you've only got 2 weeks in the year to go on holiday because of your job, and you know that you get bored easy and you want to see loads of places, cruising is a fantastic way to do that because you have the adventurousness of backpacking, like you're in a different place every day and you can have a new adventure every single day. But you also have the convenience of going to an all-inclusive resort where you're not having to pack up all of your stuff every day and go to a different hotel room and research things. You know, if you married backpacking with an all-inclusive holiday, you would get cruising. It's the best of both worlds. I love the fact that I'm in a different destination every day, but I still have the same hotel room or same cabin. And also, we've gone through this before, but there are so many different cruise lines offering so many different experiences. If you want to go on a cruise that is only going to take you to touristy cruise hub destinations, there are plenty of cruise lines that offer that. Whereas if you do want to go on an expedition cruise, there are literally cruises called expedition cruises that will take you to Antarctica and the Galapagos, where you can do things that aren't touristy. And I believe that that is real travel. Whether you go to the touristy areas or whether you go to the Galapagos, it's all real travel. You're leaving your hometown to go somewhere else. That's travel. Another reason people wouldn't consider cruising is cruise activities feel repetitive. Trivia, Zumba, belly flop competitions, art auctions, the same activities over and over again. While some love the consistency, some find it boring and repetitive. Cruise lines try to mix it up with different attractions, but the core activities tend to remain unchanged. But people like to know what they're gonna get. I continue to buy Branston baked beans because I know that they're going to taste the same every single time. And people keep going back to the same cruise line because they know that they're going to have a great time. So when Royal Caribbean, for example, bring out a new ship, yes, they have to add some new attractions to make people want to try the new ship, but ultimately people are going back to Royal Caribbean because they had such a great vacation the last time. So they do have to keep a lot of the same things, and cruise lines are constantly trying to find that sweet spot where they've got enough new things to offer but enough of the same things on offer. And this is a difficult one because while I completely agree that sometimes cruise line activities can 100% be repetitive, the cruise line has to keep a good amount of consistency. And also, I find we only describe things as repetitive if we didn't like it. For example, I keep using Royal Caribbean as the example, but the Aqua Show on Royal Caribbean, I don't think I'm ever going to describe that as repetitive because every time I see it, I'm just amazed. Whereas for me, the belly flop competition, it's a little repetitive, but for some people that's something they really look forward to when they go on a Royal Caribbean cruise. So they would be really disappointed if Royal Caribbean were like, oh sorry, we pulled that, we're not doing that anymore. So while one person might consider the cruise ship activities repetitive, another person might be really pleased that they are repeating those cruise ship activities because they love them. The fifth reason that people would never consider going on a cruise ship is forced socialization. Cruising is a communal experience, which means sharing public spaces and sometimes even meals with people that you don't know. And while some people love meeting new people, others dislike the lack of privacy, especially on traditional cruise lines where assigned dining means sitting with strangers. It's not so much an enforced thing now on most cruise lines. You tend to have the choice, but for a long time, if you ate in the main dining room, you would end up sitting with people you'd never met before. And obviously for extroverts like myself, that's great. I love hearing people's stories. I love hearing about people's cruises, but I can also understand that for many people, that sounds like their worst nightmare. But I went on a Cunard cruise at the beginning of 2024 with my friend, and at first she wasn't so psyched about the thought of sitting with strangers for dinner, but I was like, we're gonna do it. And she had a great time. She was like, oh my God, they were so funny. I'm so glad that we met them. Now, of course, there's always the chance that you're going to sit with some people and be like, oh my God, get me out of here. But generally, in my experience, I've usually been sat with people who are really nice, really interesting, really good to talk to. The sixth reason that people would never consider going on a cruise is the slow and expensive Wi-Fi. Cruise Wi-Fi is generally very slow and very expensive. I may have mentioned this before. So streaming is often restricted and simple browsing can be painfully slow. So while the modern cruise ships have improved internet access, it's not great. So if you are someone that always needs to be connected to the internet, I can absolutely understand why going on a cruise wouldn't be for you. Again, going back to my cruise on Cunard with my friend, because I'd spent 10 years at sea and I was used to the bad Wi-Fi, I hadn't really considered what it would be like for someone who wasn't used to it. And it was really interesting sharing a cabin with her, and she was she wasn't happy because she was like,
I have no internet access.
Because we didn't pay for it, because it was only like a 3-day cruise. But she had never not had access to the internet before, and that was really eye-opening to see how reliant we've all become on the internet. I mean, it's not a bad thing, it's just the way things are, but yeah, I can definitely understand why you wouldn't want to go on a cruise if having access to the internet is your lifeline almost. But a lot of people who enjoy cruising look at this as the perfect opportunity to do a digital detox. Going on a week's cruise can be a fantastic excuse to just put the phone away and remember what life was like before we were attached to our phones. And I'm not gonna lie, this can be quite tricky, but I think all the more reason why it's a good thing to do, and just spend a week or however long your cruise is not looking at Instagram, not looking at your emails or Facebook. So I know I always talk about cruise lines having bad internet as a bad thing, because it would be nice if they actually got with the times, and while improving these cruise ships and making them bigger and better, they also did the same with the Wi-Fi access. Actually, one of the benefits is you can use it as an excuse to do a digital detox. The seventh reason that people would never consider going on a cruise are the hidden costs and extra charges. So while the initial cruise fare may seem really affordable, anyone who has cruised will know that once you get on board, things can quickly add up. There's gratuities, speciality dining, drinks packages, excursions, Wi-Fi if you want it, professional photos, entertainment add-ons, shops. So cruising isn't always the all-inclusive vacation that people expect when they do their first cruise. So I think we all understand that the extra charges will completely depend on what cruise line you choose to go on and how much you pay for the initial cruise fare. In essence, the cheaper your cruise, the more expensive it will be once you are on board. So for example, if I pay £2,000 to go on Virgin Voyages, yes, it's a lot of money, but my Wi-Fi is included, soft drinks are included, entertainment's included, all of the food is included, and I don't have to pay any gratuities unless someone has given me an exceptional service. Whereas if I pay £400 for my initial cruise fare, I'll have to pay for Wi-Fi, I'll have to pay for speciality dining, I'll have to pay for a drinks package, possibly. Some of the entertainment I will have to pay for. I will have to pay for gratuities. So sometimes going for the lower initial cruise fare can actually end up costing you way more in the future. Not always, but sometimes. But that's just my justification when people say all cruising comes with loads of hidden costs, because actually not all of them do. It just depends on which cruise and which cruise line you cruise with. And the 8th reason why people would never consider going on a cruise is because of the environmental impact. Cruise ships burn massive amounts of fuel, disrupt marine ecosystems, and sometimes strain small port communities with like overcrowding. Now, while some cruise lines are making a big effort to be more sustainable, the overall environmental footprint of cruising is hard to ignore. Now, I, like most of us, I would assume, fully support being kind to the environment and making conscious choices to be better. But at the same time, many industries contribute significantly to environmental issues. Private jets, commercial airlines, fast fashion, meat, production of phones. And the sad reality is that simply existing has an environmental impact. And while the cruise industry isn't perfect, it is evolving to become more sustainable. Plus, cruising is only growing in popularity. So while I think it's fair to acknowledge the impact, I don't think that should stop people from enjoying their vacation. So those are some of the reasons why a lot of people would never consider going on a cruise. I personally think they're missing out. I would be very curious to know what you think, and if you think they're missing out, or whether you actually agree with some of these. But if you do like cruising and you do want to know more tips and tricks on how to get the most out of your cruise vacation, then consider signing up to my newsletter. It's a weekly newsletter that I send out. You can sign up in the description box down below, or you can go over to my website cruisingascrew.com and sign up there. And also, if you have anything in particular you want me to answer or talk about, you can let me know in the comments and I'll be sure to read them. But thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate you being here. If you have enjoyed this video, please smash the like button. It really helps me out with the algorithm. And as always, guys, I will see you in the next video.